It's thinking. It's thinking. Oh my God! It says it. We are live. You are live! Exclamation point.
We're here. We made
Awesome.
We're here. We're here together, and we made it. Well, welcome in, folks, and welcome back for another exciting episode of the Mike Seibert Radio Podcast live stream. I am your host, and I have a full house, as you can see watching on the video. If you're listening on the podcast later, obviously you can't see us, but sorry you missed out on the live stream. But no, this is we're doing something special and something new this year for CybFest Northwest. And I just want to remind folks that CybFest Northwest 2023 is coming in just a couple short weeks on July 8th, 2023 at the Kent Commons Community Center. It is our 10th annual CybFest. It's the Cybertronian Festival, our own unofficial Transformers convention here in the Pacific Northwest with a Pacific Northwest twist and flavor to it. And we've been talking over the last several weeks about all of the cool stuff that we're bringing. Like, you know, we've got robotics teams. We've got our exclusive figure, the Generation Zero wheelless Jack. We've got Mr. Paul Eiding, the voice of Perceptor, coming. But for all of the cool stuff that we're doing, CybFest at its core, going all the way back to its beginnings as CybCon, it's always been a dealer-focused show. Now, that's expanded over the years where we've been able to welcome local artists, but really, it's about buying toys. So we thought it would be, our coverage of CybFest wouldn't be complete if we didn't invite some dealers on to chat about the cool stuff that they're selling, the cool stuff they do in the fandom, and kind of give fans an opportunity to know other folks in the space. So like, for example, there's folks that I'm meeting here for the first time. There's folks that I've seen at CybFest before, but haven't really gotten to know. And there's folks that I've known forever. So it's a really nice cross section of different folks. But enough from me. I think what we're going to start to do is just kind of go around the room and we'll kind of introduce ourselves. And then from there, we'll talk about the things that we're doing at our respective tables for CybFest. And then from there, we'll just kind of have some casual conversations and kind of talk about our history with Transformers and our history with CybFest, and as well as take some live questions. So if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook or on Twitter and you have questions for us as we're doing the thing here, please feel free and jump in the chat. Don't be shy, and we'll answer your questions and put your chats up as we go. But let's kind of start. I think if I'm doing my screen orientation right, this is probably going to be clockwise. So I think we'll see if this works. But let's start with Adam, the toy box hero himself. Adam, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Kind of, just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, and then talk about your table at CybFest and what you're going to be doing there.
Hey guys, I'm Adam. This is I'm Toy Box Heroes. This will be my 18, 19, 20. I think this will be my 4th CybFest as a vendor and 5th overall.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been a really cool experience. COVID kind of shut it down for a bit, and now we're back. We're up and running. As you can see, I got all kinds of crap around me.
I love it.
Yeah, this is my the garage has become my workspace. My wife, she finally told me I couldn't do it in the house anymore. So it was either go up in the attic or go in the garage. And I'm not going out back to the shed. That is just not my bag. But yeah, I've been a longtime collector. I started in Beast Wars. Yeah, I've been a longtime collector. Whoa.
Oh, I think your delay caught up to you. Are you watching the show on YouTube while you're on with us?
No,
that might have been me.
Oh, okay. It might be. You know, I do the same thing all the time too, because like I click into the show to make sure it's working okay, and then I get that audio feedback. So apologies for that.
I'm just not used to getting yelled at by myself.
It's like, that's what I sound like.
Oh my God, I sound horrible. No, like I said, I've been collecting since Beast Wars, off and on. You fall in and out, and you fall out of love with it. You get new stuff, you get old stuff. You always. I've come to learn that you never truly stop collecting Transformers. You just take a break.
Yeah.
I quit for a couple of years when I got married and had my kid. And then last fall, my wife was like, dude, you need a hobby. You need to get back into this because I am sick of seeing you all the time. So here we are, gearing up to do our biggest CybFest. We've got, God, close to $7,000 in loose inventory.
Holy smokes.
Like, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more and more. And like, I started being a seller because it was a means to an end. I had a bunch of stuff that I didn't want anymore. I knew other people that wanted my stuff, and they would pay money for my stuff so I can get other stuff that I did want. And then that becomes a machine and a beast, and all of a sudden you're doing it again. But we've got a big, I think we've got a leader table this year.
Mm-hmm.
My first CybFest, I was a single table, and then now I'm a leader table, and I've got my wonderful wife and my best friend who started Toy Box Heroes with me years ago is going to come and do it with me, and we're going to make a weekend out of it. And we've got a lot of cool stuff. We've got everything from G1 to Legacy Evolution. We're going to be doing a couple of giveaways. We're going to have a big raffle. We're going to be raffling off a Titans Metroplex, the SDCC loose. We're going to be raffling that off all day. And I think we're going to raffle that off, and we're going to raffle a MP13 Soundwave, and I think we're going to do a boxed Repugnus in our raffle. Yeah.
Nice.
We're still working on the particulars of it, but I think the raffle's probably going to be between 10 or 15 bucks a ticket, because I mean that Metroplex is huge, and we want to give it to we felt that if we were going to do any kind of raffle, Metroplex is the one to do.
Yeah.
So I think tentatively, I think it'll be $10 a ticket for early bird, and then $15 at the show. And I think we're gonna give out a bunch of mini cons, because I've got, I don't know, a bucket of like 200 mini cons that we're gonna be giving out. It's gonna be a great show. We're gonna have so much fun. My wife, this will be her first. She's not a toy person.
Okay.
So this will be her first toy-centric experience outside of local trade stuff, and she's super excited, and we're really excited to be back, and we can't wait to see everybody and interact and answer questions and do all the fun stuff.
I love it. That's terrific. All right, well, let's kind of move on. So Jeremy, you have one of the more unique things that you're selling at CybFest, and in fact, now because of the stuff that you've been doing with your figures, you now kind of have like dual citizenship in a couple different communities. I'm being intentionally vague because I don't want to steal your thunder, but Jeremy, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us about the cool stuff that what your specialty is at CybFest.
So thanks. I got involved in CybFest just before COVID was my first one. I've been back, I think, a total of 3 times. Well, 2 more times after that, so this will be my 4th as well. I believe. I think so. Hard to keep track. Sometimes they just blend together a bit. But yeah, I got into Transformers through my other hobby. Well, I grew up a child of the 80s, G1 Transformers, watching it every day, on TV as a kid. Always loved Transformers. But I got back into Transformers because of my other hobby, which is Legos. And I started playing around with the few pieces I had and building some Transformers out of Legos. And that's just kind of snowballed into even a little side business for me at this point, where I have probably 150 different builds, mostly G1, some Armada stuff, some kind of hybrid, like G1-ish, newer, versions of stuff. But the best way is just, I think, for me to show you. I've got a few different things here that I can kind of show off and try to hold up and kind of spin the camera around a little bit. So, like, here you go. These are also part of the fun of how I do this is the scale. So this is Optimus Prime, obviously, and I'm not going to make you sit through watching him transform, but these all transform without any parts forming, so you don't have to take anything apart, put it back together. But this is him fully transformed.
Oh my gosh.
So, pretty kind of G1 mostly, but a little bit inspired by some of the newer versions and, the new movie version and all that fun stuff, and a few fun little liberties of things that I did. But, and just to give him a little, all right, keep moving stuff, and I'm not the camera thing yet. So you can see him. A few other things, you mentioned Metroplex. Well, I got on a spree at one point of building all the Titans. And so here is my Metroplex, not very large and space consuming, but again, fully transforms. No parts come off except for, his guns out of his hand. And some other fun things because of our wonderful special guest. We've got Perceptor. And again, because I'm lazy, I'm going to show you what he looks like here with fully transformed. And then a couple other guys down here that I'll just hold up the whole thing so you can see it all at once. We've got Starscream and Jetfire.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, those are awesome.
Which are 2 of my favorites. I worked for a long time on Jetfire trying to get him to transform more or less how the original toy does, and struggled.
Awesome.
And finally got this model, and then this was like, hey, I could use a lot of that design to make Starscream. So, Starscream. I actually have all of the original Seekers, all 6 of them, somewhere on the shelf way behind me. Back over there. You can see there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Probably a good, I don't know, $2,000 worth of Legos invested in all of that. That'll all be with me. A lot of fun stuff, a lot of new builds that I just worked on recently and figured out. I after I did the Titans, I went through a stage of how small can I possibly make a functional transformer, and I came up with the last couple of things I'll show off here, unless people want to see more. I did the Dinobots first. I'm a huge Grimlock fan. So where is he? There he is. So we've got this tiny little guy here, my tiny little Grimlock.
Oh my gosh, look at him.
So cool.
I actually had these with me last year at CybFest, and I think I brought 10 of them, and I came home with 1. So this year I upped it a little bit. Did if we can see in the box here, my little convenient storage box. Did all of the Dinobots.
Oh,
and
awesome.
Did multiple sets of them. I think I've got 4 of each, 3 or 4 of each, 3 of each. And those for people that are keeping track here stand about as tall as a Lego minifig. So I mean, you can kind of see in relation to me, but so they stand about that big. I also had some fun and did the Insecticons.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's
Show
so
off
cool.
a couple little guys here. My favorite. Ah,
Oop, oh no.
very small and hard to hold on to at times too.
Wrong. They're our way in.
But, yeah.
My favorite bug. Oh my gosh, a bug.
Yeah. But yeah, so
great.
that's me. Definitely something a little different. I get to be special and be like the only one at CybFest generally that has Legos, which is always fun. But I mean, I do love Transformers. Been a fan, like I said, my whole life, and it was just kind of a weird little accident of fate that got me back into them when I started playing with Legos again. I'm like, what can I make? I need to build something. It was like a stress relief from my day-to-day, my full-time job, and now it's kind of taken over my life. If I can show off one thing that's not Transformers related to, just because I love it.
Sure.
Everybody seems to love it because it's Transformers adjacent, I would say, and that's this guy here. Don't really need to explain.
Oh my gosh!
Voltron.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And this is, other than the little couple of pieces at his feet so he'll stand up, there are no extra parts here holding them together. This is just the 5 lions that change shape a little bit and become Voltron. So like I said, Transformers adjacent, right time period and all for when it all started. But he's a fun guy and is always pretty popular with the Transformers crowd too. If I can not break him as I hold it up. That's the Black Lion.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's got some heft to it too.
He's pretty bulky, and my hand's a little shaky here. But he's pretty solid. The other lions, my biggest issue with this one was I was trying to get all the lions the same size, and I went back and had to watch the original show and the new shows, and I'm like, they're not the same size. Why am I trying to do this to myself? And then once I realized that, I'm like, oh, this makes it much easier to make the Black Lion big and the others small. And, then I was much more successful in building it. But yeah, so that's my stuff. Again, they all transform without parts forming, with a couple of small exceptions. And those are things like, is he still sitting around on my desk? Maybe not. Like I have a tiny little Ultra Magnus that actually does. He has like 2 pieces that come off of his truck mode to reattach as a robot, but most of the toys require like pull the whole thing apart, put it all back together. So I didn't really feel too guilty on that one. And then I have Galvatron around here somewhere, and his cannon like sticks on his head when he's in the gun mode, and then reattaches to his arm. But I mean, that's not even cheating at that point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean that's canon for, pardon the pun, but that's canon. I mean that's how he transforms in the movie and in season 3. It's like you see the gun pop out of his head and go back on his arm. So
exactly, and that's what I try to keep the transformations, if not exactly. I mean, I'm working on a very small scale here and with Legos, so I'm a little limited, but I try to keep the transformation familiar to the toy. And I'll just show you real quick with Optimus Prime, if I can not rip him in half, which I just did.
Oh no,
he's got a little bit of extra to him, but you can. Where is he? There he is. You can see his arms just pop out of the side here, and fold forward. So
and it's still very evocative of that classic G1 transformation. That's really cool.
Exactly. So I mean, I've already halfway done with the transformation here, just by doing that, and then the legs just kind of fold down, and the body spins around, and you're done. So very simple, but and very familiar, even if it's not exactly the same. Even like Starscream, you can kind of see it a little more in the robot mode, but there's no hiding different parts to have fake versions.
Right.
This cockpit is the cockpit for when he is a plane, and it just kind of all folds up. The arms tuck in underneath. The legs fold into the back. And that's all there is to it. Again, very similar, very reminiscent of the original toys.
Yeah.
So people, it seems it's self-serving. I don't have to explain how to transform them if it's obvious and it's familiar to the toy.
Yeah.
Most people are like, oh yeah, look, it's just like this. So it works well for me, and people seem to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
One of my favorite tables at CybFest. I always love seeing the new and exciting stuff that you got, Jeremy. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I have a lot of new stuff too, so definitely stop by and say hi and check everything out.
Sweet.
I went on a roll with the tiny little stuff, and I'm not going to go and dig it out of the boxes, but I have a whole set of Constructicons. Yeah, so I have a Devastator that's about that big.
Oh no!
All fully transforming separately and combining.
Oh
Predacons on that same scale. The aerial bots, a lot of fun little stuff. So.
Oh, that's bad news bears for me. I'm anticipating leaving CybFest with no monies. That's
the good news is I have my new little PayPal credit card scanning machine. So all set up for everybody to spend all their money with me.
He's found new ways to take my money.
I try to be, Yeah.
That's terrific stuff. Again, thanks for sharing that, Jeremy. Let's continue because we still have some folks we haven't met yet here on the panel. Silverio, you're up next, and please tell me if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Oh no, you're good, Silverio. Yeah.
All right, cool. And so, I heard that you were at SummerCon this last weekend.
Actually, that was yesterday. So I was gonna take you guys up to my dungeon, but it's like my art, like my stuff's just everywhere right now, especially with stuff I bought over there. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, and let's talk about some of the wares that you'll be peddling at CybFest.
So I've been into Transformers since I was a kid. It was through my older cousin, and when I was a kid, he didn't let me play with his stuff. So I was like, you know what, one day I'll just go buy my own stuff. So I got more into it, especially with the Generations line, back in the early 2000s, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I've been selling art since 2013. After college, I graduated from UW at 2012, and then I was still working as a server, and then doing art stuff, and then I finally was able to sell stuff. I was like, oh man, I don't have to be a server anymore. Unfortunately, you still need a day job while you're selling art. So right now I work in a retirement community. I do activities for the elderly on top of like tabling on the side. I mainly do art stuff in the Washington area. I've gone as far as Oregon, like Eugene, but mainly like I've done stuff in Centralia, Tacoma, but I stay in Seattle most of the time. I've done Renton City Retro. SummerCon is a big one for me. I did do Emerald City one year, but it just kept getting more and more expensive. So they put you in like a back corner. If they're like, oh, local artists, okay, we're gonna put you in this back corner. I'm like, no traffic here. But anyway, I'm gonna stop talking bad about Emerald City. Now they'll never pick me. No, I'm just kidding. But with my art,
it's all good, brother.
Watercolor. I do a lot of like mesh modern art with pop stuff. So I've done like one of my big art pieces is the Klimt, the Kiss. So I did that, but like a Batman and Catwoman version. I do like Seattle theme art, the mesh history art stuff, and then just a bunch of my favorite pop culture things. I do like a lot of animes I grew up to, or animes I really like. Like I know a lot of people will be like, oh, you should draw Naruto or something, and if
Mhm.
I didn't really like watch it, so I it doesn't. I don't feel like I have the background for it. I have to like have seen this show in order for me to like draw something. So what really got me into anime was like Cowboy Bebop was my favorite thing. Like I met Steve Bloom a couple times. I actually did their 25th anniversary. They were at Renton City Retro, and I did the exclusive print for that con. So I drew like all the characters from Cowboy Bebop, and then I didn't get them to sign my thing, but I saw a bunch of other fans getting their poster signed that I drew, which was really cool.
Uh-huh.
And I took pictures of that from them. For Transformer stuff, I did do this. This was one of my first like watercolor. The original one is pretty big. It's a bunch of these smaller prints that
Uh-huh.
connect together to make one big one. And then I did this digital version, but it's still like watercolor formed and inked.
Oh, that's terrific. Very, very cool.
So it's just like a huge battle. Has everyone on there.
That's an impressive size print too. I just like in terms of the scale and the character count and stuff. That's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
And then I have a bunch of like super deformed type superhero stuff too.
Mhm.
And then for digital, I think I started doing it. I did a couple for not last year's CybFest, but the year before. I did a couple digital pieces with just like Optimus Prime's head, and they're just pretty much bust, like side views of Transformer heads.
Yeah.
So here's a bunch of them. So I have a print for
Oh,
each
nice.
of these, and I started doing the Beast Wars just this year. So here's Optimus Primal.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Very cool. I love it. I love the straightforward simplicity of it. Just like a side profile. I think that's really, really cool. There's my dude, the cassette man. Yeah.
I had to. This is empty box, but I was like, Soundbird's my favorite. He's gonna be behind me on this interview.
I love it. I love the decoration game. That's great.
Still working on this Dinobot, but this is the latest one I'm working on right now.
Yeah. And I would imagine it would look really cool if folks got a large variety of the profile prints and just put them up as like a collage. That just seems like it's begging for that.
Yeah, that was my intention, was just like so the background colors on all of them are kind of similar. So if you put them all together, it like the form would like connect them together. So like the Decepticons background, it's like all different shades of purple, and then the Autobots is all different shades of red and orange. Here's Ironhide. He's my favorite as well.
Oh, I love that.
Love the chin.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's very cool.
Like
very
really
heroic.
The IDW comics too. I read a bunch of those back in college. I used to go to Dreamstrand, a comic book store in Greenwood, and pick those up. Here's the Megatron.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Back in college, I also I did this giant sculpture of Optimus Prime. Unfortunately, he's like disassembled. But one thing I did keep was this Matrix.
Wow.
But,
Oh,
Nice.
That's pretty rad.
the sculpture
Yeah,
was
say-
like a giant Optimus Prime, and you could like, he was actually somewhat posable. Like his head moved and his arms moved, and then you could open up his chest and like put this inside. But that was I don't know, 2009, 2008. It was a long time ago.
Sure. Well, I was gonna say if the Matrix is that big, how big was this thing? My
It was
goodness.
Yeah, it was bigger than me. It was a little taller, but it was just a bust too, so it was
Sure.
just like half his body. But the whole thing turned. I built it with like pipes and sawed it up, and I used a bunch of hot glue gun. We were doing a cardboard sculpture at the time. It was like one of my 3D classes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm gonna build a freaking transformer.
As
I
one
love
does.
it.
Yeah, and I
If
also
you build
built
it, they will come.
I also built a Soundwave when I was in UW, and it's all disassembled. It's at my parents' house, but it was made out of a bunch of old electronics. Because there are scenes where, like, I think it was in the animated Transformers series, where like he was walking and all these electronics combine, and then it formed Soundwave. But that's how I was inspired by it. So I use an old laptop, like a old PlayStation, a bunch of old video games, and I just put them together. And then I put a speaker in him so you could like connect your iPod. But I only have photos of it now.
Gotcha. It only lives now in my memory.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, that's awesome though. That is terrific stuff. So, what are you selling at your table, Severio? Is it just like do you have prints? Because you mentioned you have
Yeah.
a lot of digital stuff, but like what can folks expect when they visit your table?
I will be selling a bunch of prints. I have a bunch of prints of the battle here, and then just other prints of like different pop art, superhero stuff. I'm a super huge Batman fan, so I have a bunch of Batman stuff as well. And then I have a second table next to me. I will bring some of my old figures because I have to, what do you call it? Like shrink down my collection a little bit.
Yeah, downsizing.
Downsizing, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, the thing is, like, all those new studio series are just, like, I want all those because they're closer to the G1 designs. So I'm super into those.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still love my old generation stuff. It's hard to like sell them, but I was like, I'm married too, so I mean, we all we understand that.
I
It's
understand.
like, these things. And I'm like, okay. I'll play which one sparks joy still. So I'll pick up a transform and be like, oh, this one still sparks joy. I remember buying it that one time. I'm like, I don't want to sell it. Then I picked the newer version of it. I'm like, oh, but this one, okay, I only could pick one.
Yeah. Well, a lot of us in our collections, we're kind of like on that perpetual upgrade game. It's just like, well, it's like, oh, do I like this cup better than the old cup? Or is this Springer better than the old one? Or it's like this will be my Springer until they reissue him without the battle damage. You know that kind of stuff.
Actually, at SummerCon, I bought the Ultra Magnus. What was it? Because it didn't have the battle damage. Like the Kingdom Ultra Magnus. It was only $40. So I was like, oh,
nice.
Shoot. It was going, it's going for like 70 or 65 to 70 online, and I was like, I'm just gonna pick this up. I picked up the Rhinox. I was like, I told myself I wasn't gonna collect the Beast Wars stuff, but I was like, too freaking cool. And then I picked up a Scorponok. I was like, I've always wanted one since I was a kid, so I might as well just pick it up.
Yeah,
and that was
it's interesting. Like I was, I'm line complete on Studio Series 86. So somebody's phone is ringing, and it's not mine. I don't know. It seems to have abated. Very good. But no, I'm line complete on Studio Series 86, but like I started to become impatient, and they started putting out like Kingdom Cyclonus or Siege Springer or even Earthrise RC, and I'm just like, well, fine, I'm just gonna get them. But I think my I'm gonna be punished for my impatience because they put out Studio Series 86 RC, so now I have two RCs, and now with the rumored Commander class Ultra Magnus coming, I'm just like, man, because like I very similar. I got a screaming deal on Kingdom Ultra Magnus last year at CybFest, and because it's like I need an Ultra Magnus in my Studio Series figures, and he scales right with the other characters more or less, but yeah, it's like, and I'm just waiting for the day when they finally do Springer in Studio Series 86 too, so I can kick that Siege version to the curb, because I hate that battle damage. It's so dumb.
Yeah, I don't like the
I really don't like it. There's one figure in the entire War for Cybertron series that I actually like the battle damage on, and it's a blue deep cover, the Walmart version of Sideswipe, and he, so like with the blue coloring, the black blast effects look cool, but like the thing that really makes it sing for me is like he has a strip of silver across his front bumper. Yeah, just like that. In fact, yeah, let me put that up on Solo so everybody could see it. But like just that little bit of silver paint really just makes the coloring of the whole figure come together, and I love that figure so much. That was the figure that kicked off my entire obsession with the War for Cybertron Sideswipe mold. I now have all 12 of them because I got them, and I had to get Gigawatt too, because with all of that heavy retooling, he's still a Sideswipe. It's just like he's a heavy retool, but everything else about him, like you know, like the arms, the thighs, the engineering, he's definitely a Sideswipe with just some DeLorean parts thrown on him. I love that mold so much, but anyway, that's the one figure in the line I can think of where I actually like the battle damage on it, and it makes him look kind of distinctive.
Yeah, Galvatron has a little bit on it, but it's not like that silver stuff. It's just like a little bit of purple lining on him.
Yeah, I don't mind that one. Like, you know, a lot of folks were looking to get rid of that one as soon as he came out in Legacy, and I never minded the so like I still have that one. I have Kingdom Galvatron with like the purple battle damage on him almost looks like it's not quite cell shading, but close. Yeah. It just gives a little extra dynamic to it. It's totally fine. That's a fun figure. He's a big chunky dude. So Silverio, I know, like, so we have a couple other folks on the panel that we're going to introduce, but I know you need to dip out around 8. If we don't come back around to you, could you let us know where folks can find your stuff on the internet? Like, do you have a website? Do you have social medias? If there's other stuff that you would like to promote while you're here, let the folks know at home.
Oh yeah, so my Instagram is EOGoodness. It's IOGOODNEZZ. Mainly I just use that. I do have a Society 6. You could just type my name, Silverio Godinez, on Google, and then a bunch of my stuff will pop up. But to like check out my stuff, Tumblr or on Instagram. Tumblr has like a more clear view of my art versus Instagram is just like little shots of things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'll also be selling some of my figures there. My brother wanted to add some of his stuff too, so I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the table. I mean, you may as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, anything else that you're particularly looking forward to this year's CybFest aside from selling your art and figures?
I'm a collector too, so I'll be there. One big Transformer that's super expensive for some reason is Prowl, that 2-pack. I just want Prowl.
Oh yeah.
Like the normal car version, not a Cybertron mode. Also, the Conehead jets, those are, for some reason, have skyrocketed. I remember seeing Thrust somewhere at Target, and I was like, I think I was at this point where I was like, I should slow down in collecting, and then now I'm like beating myself up because now it's like a $90 to $100 figure. I'm like, what the hell? It was in my hands.
I hate that, and it becomes your white whale, right? It's like, I mean, we all have those where it was like, it's in my hands, but I don't want to buy it right now here today, and it's just gone forever.
Walmart Soundwave.
Oh yeah.
I walked into a Walmart and saw 9 of them on the shelf one time. 9 of them, and didn't pull the trigger because it's just another Soundwave.
Yeah, and $50 is a lot of money.
Yeah, $50 is a lot of money for another one.
Those Netflix ones
He is
too.
pretty impressive, though.
Oh, he's beautiful.
I love that figure. He's one of my favorites.
That's the Netflix Soundwave, right?
Yeah. The Netflix one.
I got lucky. I had a friend who would I was at my old job, but I had a Transformer buddy, so he'd like look out for me. He's like, "Do you want this? I'm gonna buy 2 of them." I was like, "Sure, man, please."
No, that's awesome. All right, so yeah, so very, you're welcome to hang out till you got to go, but let's meet a couple other folks on the panel. And remember when I joked with you guys earlier before we went live, I said, "Oh yeah, we'll be done in about an hour." We're at almost an hour and we haven't even met everybody yet. So so I appreciate you guys waiting in the wings. But let's keep things moving, and I would like to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Magnus von Braun himself, the La Jolla of Atomic Mariachi Robot. Renee, how you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So you're you and Apollo are the only returning folks to Mike Cybert Radio, which is why I made you guys go last. But but it's been more than a few years since you've been on. So
I think it's about 2, maybe 3. I think.
Brother, I think it's been longer. I think it was 2019.
My brain ain't working that much anymore.
Having too much of that hot bot sauce, I think. But
just a little.
But for folks that are meeting you for the first time, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us about Atomic Mariachi Robot, and then from there, let's talk about your table exclusive that you got for us, because I'm very excited about that.
Oh yeah. Well, my name's Renee Sanchez. Most people know me by either one of 2 names. It's either Magnus or Animal. Animal goes back 2 decades at least, 3 decades. That was kind of my stage name when I was doing the whole rock and roll shtick. But my entire life, I've been collecting toys. Started with G.I. Joe, Transformers. Even before that, I started doing Micronauts. That's what kind of got me involved in comic books initially. ROM, Space Knight, and Micronauts. Those were 2 Marvel books that I was always reading since I was about 6 years old. And then when G.I. Joe hit, I was on top of that. And Transformers, oh my God. Don't even get me started. I mean, I was like one of those little kids. I had first issue that came off the newsstand. And I still have that issue in my original Marvel run, which is a complete Marvel run of all the original Marvel comics. Flash forward to 2016. I'm married. I have a lovely wife. We decide we're living in Texas. It's too damn hot. Let's get the hell out of here. And we move up here to the Pacific Northwest. We are located in Graham, Washington now. We have a beautiful little piece of property out here, and it's kind of affectionately named Autobot City. Little 7-acre piece of grass and trees, and it's awesome. We get to see the deer coming in and all the other wildlife around here. I've seen wolves out here. It's just crazy. It's a wonderful place. And when I first heard of CybFest was about 7 years ago. That was my first CybFest. And I went as a just a spectator, some guy coming in off the street wanting to look at Transformers. And my wife went with me, and we were like, "Oh man, you could be a vendor here." And I was like, "Yeah, I could be a vendor here, couldn't I?" Next year, I signed up, and I've been coming in ever since. And it's been a hell of a journey. I've been really enjoying it. Every person that I've met through the community has been freaking awesome. I started out a long time ago selling at flea markets and garage sales, and I kind of learned the tricks of the trade really quick. One of the things that I learned early on was, people want a deal, and I'm the kind of guy that's going to give them a deal. I don't have a lot of stuff. Even this year, I don't really have that much stuff, but every year it's always at least a box of stuff that I've had on the shelf. And every year I'm like, oh, do I really want this? Do I need to upgrade? We're looking at, am I going to get the Siege version of the figure, or am I going to get the Kingdom version?
Yep.
The struggle is real, people.
That upgrade game, man. I mean, John Hasbro has got our number for sure.
Definitely. And I've been kind of winding myself down because I'm not as young as I used to be, and getting ready and getting yourself together for a show, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of hassle, and it's worth it in the end. It's worth it. But what does Samuel Jackson always say? I'm getting too old for this. Expletive deleted.
Sure.
And so I'm trying to figure out a way to keep going and doing the shows, but at the same time, do something a little different, something that not necessarily everybody else is doing. And when I was listening to the last show you were doing, Mike, where you had the organizers of the event, I hadn't even decided to do what I announced I was going to do until toward the end of that podcast.
Yeah.
And it was very off the cuff. I had the product already done by that point. And no, I take that back. I'm wrong. It was close to being done.
Yeah, you had teased in the group. I
Yes.
think like you had put something up saying like, I'm working on something for CybFest. So.
Yeah, and so I've been watching tons, obscene amounts of YouTube videos, and one of my favorite things to watch are the cooking shows. There's this little smart ass that's on there. His name's Josh Weiserman, and I like the content, but he's kind of a little uppity. He gets on my nerves sometimes, but I can sit there and listen and absorb the information that he's trying to convey. And one of the things he started, I came across one of his videos. It was, how do you make hot sauce? Okay, I'm from Texas, why not? Let's do it. So it was about a month before that podcast, and I happened across a surplus of serrano peppers and jalapeno peppers. And I thought to myself, I'm going to take these home. I'm going to do something with them. Usually I'll make jalapeno poppers out of the jalapenos. My wife loves that stuff. And so then I had all these serranos, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this 10 pounds of serrano peppers? And I'm watching the videos, and I come across this hot sauce video, and I'm like, there you go. Make that. So I get everything bottled. I start brining and fermenting my peppers. And I'm like, really, what am I going to do with all this stuff? I went on Amazon. I bought the bottles. I went through the whole process. I was going to do it right. And I was like, let's see. And then it hits me. I'm watching Mike Cyber. And I'm watching the podcast and I'm like, that's it. They need an unofficial hot sauce. Everybody loves hot sauce. You watch Hot Ones. I watch Hot Ones. Come on, let's do an unofficial hot sauce. And I'm making sure that it's unofficial because CybFest Northwest is the unofficial Transformers convention.
Yep.
So I get on it and I'm like, all right, cool. That following week after that podcast, I was like on point. I was getting my stuff together. And then I finally, the last week of fermentation, I start opening everything up. The Serranos are killing me. They literally suck all the oxygen out of the kitchen. And I'm dying. I'm like, oh my, I do everything. I put my rubber gloves on. I'm veining and de-seeding all the peppers, and I'm dying. I can't even breathe. And it's the capsaicin that's in the peppers.
Sure.
I didn't even think about that when I started doing this. So then I had a huge 1 gallon thing of jalapenos. I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to add the pepper? Am I going to add the seeds to this one too? So I make the decision to pull out all the seeds and all the veins. And when I first tasted the Serrano hot sauce, there's 2 versions. There's a red one and a green one, and there really isn't any difference in the flavoring, except they were red peppers and green peppers. That was the only difference. The jalapenos, there's definitely a different flavor. But when I just 2 drops of the Serrano pepper, and I was dying. I felt it the next day. This stuff was lethally hot. But I didn't take into account the mingling of all the ingredients over time. It's basically a vinegar-based hot sauce. And when I say that, it's basically 20% vinegar, and the rest is the natural fluids and juices that came out of the brining and all this other stuff. So I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and put the Serranos aside. Those are the hot ones. The jalapeno had absolutely no kick to it, but it has a very nice jalapeno flavor just without the bite. The Serrano stuff, I just opened one of the bottles, and this is what we got right here. If you want to see the
yeah, let me bring it up there.
I have to say, Mike is the one who designed this label for me, because I was having the worst luck with the program that I was trying to use, because I'm not a really technically oriented kind of guy. And so, basically these little meat hooks of mine were not cooperating, and I couldn't figure out how to do the label. So Mike actually reached out to me, and I am forever in your debt, sir. And he designed these labels for me. And the very next day, I went and I printed them out. There you go. I printed them. I went to the Office Depot, gave him the email. They said, okay, no problem, sir. $15 later, I have a bunch of labels ready to go. And that is how the whole hot sauce thing started. And I enjoyed it so much that I think I'm going to make this a regular thing. This might be what I'm going to go ahead and pivot to. I'm still going to be selling toys. I'm still going to be, doing the same thing that I have been doing for the last 7 years. Except I think now I found a brand, a way to rebrand myself and do something creative that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I've been a musician for most of my life, but I find that kind of creativity, I need to be around a band to do it. And this is all me. This is something that I'm able to do from start to finish, and I really enjoy doing it. And I haven't felt that way in a really long time, especially when it comes to a creative endeavor. I really, really appreciate all the support and help that I've been getting from the local community. I think in this batch of hot sauce, only 18 bottles, and they're almost all spoken for at this point. And it's because of that little blurb at the end of that podcast, because I had a wild hair and I decided I wanted to do something different. And I blame you, sir, Mike. Thank you very much. And I will be forever indebted to you for your kindness and your just wanting to. You just showed me there's a lot of hope here, and there's a lot of people out here that just want to help and do something nice. And it's a beautiful fucking thing. Pardon me. But,
Mike, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted, Mike.
Oh no! I'm like, so this whole time I'm like, that's terrific, very nice. And I was like, yeah, no, you're fine, brother. That the E isn't for exclusive.
Yeah,
the E isn't for everyone. We're fine. You're fine. Don't even sweat it, brother. But no, that underscores one of the things that I wanted to talk about here, since there was a good cross section of us from the Pacific Northwest Transformers fan community. There's a lot of us, and it's a vibrant community. And I've told this story a number of times, but like, I wish I had found CybFest sooner. Like, I didn't know about CybFest until 2017, and it had been going on for quite some time, and even longer than that through the history with CybCon. So it's like, I wish I knew that there was this vibrant of a community. One of the things that I love about CybFest, it's reconnecting with family. And sometimes it's family that, you only see once a year. Sometimes it's family you see all the time. And sometimes it's family that you've never met before. But there's just such a strong sense of community, like some of the stuff you were talking about, Magnus. But like, I really like the community of Transformers fans in the kind of the greater Seattle, Pacific Northwest area. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, you've got everybody from every walk of life coming through here, and it's a celebration of that. I think Transformers fans understand the diversity of the world around them, and that's what makes us, I think, that more accepting of everyone.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's what the convention's all about. It's the inclusion of everyone, and that can't be overstated. Yeah. Period. I don't pretend to be here and say this is the cultural mecca of the universe, but it's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
And I believe the people here have the best of intentions, and they're doing their best and bringing all these people together. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. It's all about community. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Renee. That's awesome. I'm looking at the time. It's just after 8 o'clock. Silverio, do you need to bounce?
Yeah.
Any parting words of wisdom you would like to share with us, or anything else you would like to promote before you depart?
I just want to say thanks for letting me be a part of this and sharing my love for Transformers. It's not every day that I could I'll say stuff at work and people are just like, what the hell are you talking about? And you text someone. But yeah, I think Renee is right about just how it brings us all together, and like to finally be able to express our love for this these superheroes, pretty much, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs heroes.
Yeah, exactly. And even like going to my first one, like running into people. I'm like, I didn't know you're into this. Oh, I didn't know you're into this. And then, being able to finally find some people that you did know and you didn't know they were like, they liked the same things that you did, which was really cool. And then, yeah, just being at the con and being able to go to people's tables and just have little small talk about your favorite Transformer. It's awesome. Or even like your favorite series of figurines and stuff.
Yeah.
I love.
Very cool. We are looking forward to seeing you at CybFest Northwest. And again, as a reminder, CybFest Northwest is coming up on July 8th, which is way closer than I would like. That anxiety is starting to really start to ramp up. It's like I'm going over my list of like, oh my God, I don't have this ready. I don't have that ready. And so it's really kind of getting to be crunch time. But again, that's going to be July 8th at the Kent Commons Community Center. The website for CybFest is cybfestnw.com. I think I said .org once, and that's not right. cybfestnw.com. And Severio, we're looking forward to seeing you there as part of our Artist Alley, along with some other incredible artists as well. And that's one of the things we like to do with CybFest is like, obviously it has its origins in a toy show. It's still very much a toy dealer focused thing, but we like to have some diversity in our dealers as well. So we really thank you for participating in our Artist Alley and getting an artist table and really joining us. It was terrific meeting you today.
Yeah, thank you guys. Till all are one.
Till all are one.
All are one.
All are one. All are one. All right, take it easy. Good night.
Good night.
Right.
Oh man, and then there were 5. And speaking of artists and Artist Alley, see, sometimes these transitions work out well. They work less well when I call attention to them, but here we are. So after an hour of being very patient, one of my best good friends here in the fandom, she is part of the Transmissions podcast, and she will be coming up to CybFest to table as a artist dealer for the very first time. Apollo, thank you so much for joining us and for taking the time to hang out with us tonight.
Well, thanks for having me on, Mike. It's always a pleasure to be on your show.
Thanks. Well, and again, thanks for being patient as we made our way around. So you know the drill. Every show is somebody's first show. So they may have, other folks may have met you many times before, but I bet you there are folks that are meeting you here for the first time. So tell us a little bit about Apollo and your art and what brings you up to CybFest.
All right. So I grew up watching Beast Wars and a few G1 reruns. Lost touch with Transformers for many years until in 2017 I saw a movie called The Last Night. And that actually got me interested in Transformers. I did some Googling, discovered Transformers Prime, and then the More Than Meets the Eye IDW comic. And I've been in the fandom ever since. I joined Twitter in 2018, and I actually came up on my 6-year anniversary, like being in the fandom. So it's pretty exciting.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. And I moved up to Portland, Oregon. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and I moved up here 5 years ago. And I found out about CybFest Northwest, and I'm like, oh man, I need to go to this convention next year. And then I missed it again in 2019, missed going, and I'm like, well, I'll go in 2020. Well, we all know what happened in 2020, so did not go to it, but I did go to the one last year just as an attendee, and I had made a ton of prints for I was going to vend at TFCon Orlando originally in 2020. It was March 2020. So I've had all this merchandise made since 2020 that I haven't been able to sell really. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sell my stuff at CybFest this year. So I'm going to show off today what I'm going to be selling. I'm mostly selling artwork. And
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I want to highlight, which I think is a unique piece, is I have a coloring book. And it is
Oh,
Wow.
full
cool.
Well, that's
line
awesome.
art. Oh, thank you. It's full of line art for female Transformer
Mm-hmm.
characters. So we've got Nautica.
Nice.
I'll just show some pages.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Give folks
Yeah.
a reason to come to the show. Don't give
Yeah.
away all the goods.
Yeah, Road Rage, Shadow Striker from Cyberverse and IDW, the newer line,
Mm-hmm.
Windblade, Slipstream. I'm just opening the random pages. Flame
Yeah.
War, Aerial.
Oh.
Um, yeah, and I only have a limited number of these left,
Mm-hmm.
and they're never going to be made again. So if you want the Mega Empress and Luna, um,
I love it.
yeah, and then this is the Megatronia or no, this yeah, Megatronia, so the
Mm-hmm.
combiner. So, um yeah, and this is on heavy cardstock paper, so you can color this with like colored pencils or crayons or whatever, and it's a sturdy book. Like you can see here,
I was gonna
like
say
yeah,
it looks thick with two
yeah,
C's. I mean that's sturdy. Sturdy.
yeah, yeah. So
I need one.
okay.
I definitely will be taking one.
Okay, I'll set
I
one
also
aside
need
for
one.
you. Okay. All right, I'll set some aside for everyone here, and I'm charging 20 for these.
Do you want a hot sauce?
Yeah, maybe we could do a trade.
See, there you go. There you go. Oh my
There
gosh.
you go. Because see the money just gets passed around in a circle these days. Like you don't actually make money; you end up just spending the money you make on things. So some other stuff I want to show. I'm not going to show everything, but I do have a
Sure.
lot of prints. So I have this one of Knockout from Transformers
Oh,
Prime.
that's
Oh, nice.
And
awesome.
then
Ugh.
here's that Windblade and then the Nautica colored. So you can see I took my line art and Road
Oh, those are
Rage. And there's
gorgeous.
the True Form Starscream from the
Mhm.
IDW comics. I was really
hmm
heavily inspired by those. I'm not going to show everything just because I've got,
Yeah.
let's
Well,
say,
and we
Oh.
want people to
Megatron,
yeah.
TFT Starscream.
It's so good.
Let's see, Slipstream and Flame War. Yeah, there's lots. I have lots of prints. Um, the other thing I have are a bunch of buttons. I have a bunch of unique designs for buttons. So we've got Knockout here. We've got Shadow Striker here. Windblade. Starscream.
Nice.
Starscream again because he's my favorite. Nautica, and then Megatron.
Oh,
Nice.
you got the sexy Megatron. Awesome.
Yes, yeah. So lots of fun things for sale at my table. I might open sketch card commissions. I'm on the fence on that I would do at the convention. I do have digital commissions that are open, but
Mhm.
you know, a lot of people who go to these conventions like to get something that was made at the convention. So I
Yeah.
think I might do sketch card commissions. If I do that, I will announce it on my social media. I also have some larger prints, which I'm not showing. Um, they're 11 by 17. I have a Tilala 1 piece
Uh-huh.
that's inspired by that. That it's a poster size, 11 by 17. And then I have a comic that I drew where Windblade, we all think that like Transformers, it either takes place at Mount St. Helens or Mount
Mm-hmm.
Hood. So in my version of this, it took place in Mount Hood. So there's this
Sure.
little comic where Windblade like flies out to near the fictional mountain in the Columbia Gorge, and so that I have another poster size print of that I'm bringing. I do have some toys that I'm going to be selling too. We were talking about the War for Cybertron line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm selling all my Seekers from that, like of the except my Star Screams of that Tetrajet mold. Like I don't want them
Wow.
anymore. No. they're not fun like the Lambros. Like these ones are fun. Like I don't know if you saw the transmission episode where we picked our top
Yeah.
5 toys. He made my list.
Yeah.
Because this is a fun toy. Those ones are, as people say, shelf warmers. So
Mhm.
I am rehoming all of those. I'm also rehoming. I am gonna sell my Nautica figure.
Mm.
That's gonna be pretty expensive because I did pay a lot of money for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
she's
I'm gonna,
pricey on the secondary.
yeah, I know. So, and I paid a lot when I bought her, so I'm going to be selling her for probably what I paid. I'm still deciding on prices because I don't like to price gouge people.
Right.
Um, I am going to be selling a Flame Toys Optimus Prime. I have the actual figure. I got it used,
Mhm.
so it is not in good condition. Whoever owned it before me did not take care of it, so that's going to be sold for a heavy discount. So that's going to be something where someone comes to my table and like they can look at it because I just want them to know what they're getting into with this figure because it's like I bought it used and it has problems. So if someone wants to fix it, then, I will sell it to them for a good price because I baby all my stuff
Yeah.
when I buy it new. Yeah. So yeah, that's me. So yeah, and you can find out more about what I'm going to have at CybFest Northwest on my Twitter page at Robo Apollo, and I'm also on Instagram. I do have digital commissions open right now. So if you did want to get a digital commission, because my art style has changed significantly since since seeing this stuff. Like it's as you draw more, you improve.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so if you wanted to get a digital commission, those are available as well. And as you said, you were saying, oh, I want a coloring book. If there's anything you want, you can message me and I'll set it aside so it doesn't sell out. So yeah, there's my commission stuff for the digital commissions, and you can see like samples of my newer art. Some of these were commissions, like this
Mhm.
comic book cover for Transmissions, the podcast I'm a guest host on. They commissioned me for this, and then this hot rod commission is up here. So
Yeah, that hot shot is
or
a
hot shot. Oops.
yeah, yeah, hot shot is a
Yeah.
commission. Ironically enough, for my Two Mikes Two Furious co-host Michael Andrews, I think he commissioned you on that if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Um and then also your sideswipe piece
Mhm.
has special meaning for me because that originally was a birthday gift for me. So
Yeah.
that's so I love that piece so much, and I just love the folded arm swagger that he's got going on there. And I heard a rumor that maybe you were going to go back to some of the Soundwaves Day Off style comics, which I think would be very fun.
Yeah, the rumor is correct. It's more about finding time to draw
Mm-hmm.
things. I have some ideas, and those were some of my favorite comics I did. And um, that's something in the future. If I do well at this convention, that would be something I'd be considering putting in a book. And
Yeah.
selling. So, um, yeah, those are a lot of fun. Everyone seems to like the Soundwaves Day Off comics. I did one Starscream one, but like it seems like people like seeing Dad Soundwave and everything, like him just keeping the household together pretty much with
Yeah.
all those rowdy cassettes. So, yeah,
Love it.
thank
No,
you.
that's awesome. And this is your first time tabling at CybFest, right?
Yeah, in the past, I've tabled at anime conventions because I was
Mm-hmm.
super into anime for that period of time where I was not into Transformers. I was into anime for like a good chunk of time. So I tabled at a ton of anime conventions for years. So this is not new to me tabling, but it is new for me tabling at a Transformers convention because I never
Yeah,
got around to tabling at TF Con.
If it's not one thing, it's another.
Yeah. Yeah.
for
So,
sure.
and what I like about this convention, it's one I can drive to, because I'm in Portland. I am going to be getting a hotel though the night before because I watched that live stream. I wasn't able to join the
Yeah.
organizers live stream, but I watched it. And when I heard there's an 8 a.m. setup time for the dealers
Yeah.
hall, I'm like, there is no way I am leaving Portland at 5 in the morning to
No.
get here. So I'm driving up the night before so then I can get up and be there at a normal hour. So
Yep. Loadout is going to be early, and it's if we could get into the Kent Commons early, we would, but that's about as early as they'll let us in because, like, the thing with being like a small independent show, it's basically us, the organization team. So we go in and grab all of the tables and set all the tables up, and so yeah, it is quite the process. So that'll be fun because, like, I've been to, like, larger shows, like, we were talking about Emerald City Comic Con earlier, and I've been to a number of TF cons, and I could only imagine the amount of labor that goes into that because I tell you what, after we get done packing up after CybFest, I am bushed. So it really makes you confront your own vitality and endurance for sure. But it's a really, really fun show. Adam, I had a question for you. I meant to ask earlier. So with Toy Box Heroes, is that it? Are you guys a shop, or is that just what you're calling your dealer table? Is there an origin to that?
My best friend and I started it 2017. We basically sell local in Portland. We have a booth at an antique mall. So I go out and I find old, broken, misused, mistreated toys, and I bring them back to life. I affectionately call myself a Transformer rehomer. Because you don't really sell toys, you just trade them to other people for other toys. So yeah, my partner, my buddy, came up with the name. Originally, we were gonna call it Robots and Waifus because he's into the anime section.
Sure.
And then he was like, one day he was like, yeah, and our email address is going to be Toy Box Heroes. And I was like, wait a minute. You've been holding on to this for how long? So yeah, we sell locally. We do a bunch of the smaller shows in Portland Metro. The last place that we had a booth at the Northwest largest garage sale in April, I want to say. Yeah, it seems like it was so long ago. But yeah, we don't have a storefront. I just started started streaming on Whatnot, and that's been a lot of fun. I don't really do a lot of online sales because I like interacting with people, even if it's tangentially coming to my case and going through my stuff and getting something, where there's still a point of interaction for me. And that's why I absolutely love CybFest so much. The first year I went, it was as a patron. I just called my brother and was like, hey, there's this thing I want to go check out. Let's go. And we drove all the way up there and we drove all the way back. And at the end of it, I was like, I've got to be a part of this. I gotta do this. So we don't really have a storefront. We're just, we've pretty steadily, well, aside from COVID, because that kind of shut everything down.
Yeah.
Especially toy hunting and in-person reselling. I've had a booth at the Milwaukee Antique Mall now for 6 years, with a bit of a break in there. And yeah, we're just chugging right along.
I love it.
Yeah, now the wife is involved and she's invested, and It's so much fun trying to talk Transformers to my wife and watching her face slowly glaze over as she completely loses interest in what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But she's coming around. She's
Awesome.
going to be there. She's super excited. We're all super excited.
I love it. What are you looking forward to most aside from just doing commerce at your table?
Oh man, for me, it's all about that interaction. I don't really want to say customer interaction because they're you come to an event like CybFest and you don't deal with customers. You deal with people that are like-minded, that are there for a purpose. We want to go look at toys. We want to buy toys. We want to find great deals on toys, and we want to talk about them. You know, I pride myself in being able to, you'd be able to pick up. Let me step back a second. I mostly deal in loose figures because I mean I got some box stuff, but I want to open up and I want to play with them and I want people to experience them. And I very much pride myself in being able to have somebody come up and say, "Ooh, hey, I like this figure," and me being able to say, "Oh, that's a BotCon Thrustinator." He's a little loose and he's missing a wing, but he's otherwise there. And being able to have that interaction and then listen. The other part that I've learned over the course of CybFest is I love hearing people's similar stories to my own.
Yeah.
Apollo started with Beast Wars. I started with Beast Wars. Everybody has their own story, and everybody's story is different, but there's one similarity in all of our stories, and we like this one thing collectively. And everybody has their opinions. Your opinion is just as valid as mine, and if you don't like a particular figure, go right ahead. I don't really like the Seekers. I know that's a hot take, but I grew up with Beast Wars. You give me something that turns into a weird ass bug or a dinosaur, and I'm all in. But the 74th knockoff Lamborghini is still just a knockoff Lamborghini.
Yeah.
My favorite toy in my personal collection is actually a car, but it's I know, right? Shocker.
Not a Lamborghini, I'm guessing.
Huh?
Not a Lamborghini, I'm guessing.
Right? No. I have the Timelines Cheetor off of the animated Blur mold, and
Nice.
I think that is the perfect antithesis of here's a car, here is an animal. Let's do something with them. Because I love that Blur mold. Basically anything from animated is absolutely gold, except for probably what is it? Is it Slug? Slag? Yeah, that thing is just terrible. That Dinobot is awful.
Wow, I kind of like him. He's a big potato. He's kind of fun, but
hey, you can never get enough of his giant red Cheeto and just yeah, man.
So I probably should have shown this a little earlier too, then, huh?
Dude, I'm watching you and you're going over it, and I'm just dying. I'm like, oh, he's talking about G1. He doesn't do any Beast Wars. This is gonna suck.
Beast Wars are tough because getting an animal out of Legos, and especially at that scale. But yep, I've got my bigger Optimus Primal, and then I actually just redid him.
Oh wow!
So he's even smaller and sleeker, and I don't have all the parts. You were talking before about the stress of getting ready. I yesterday got a notice that parts that I had ordered weren't going to be available and weren't going to be here until July 10th. I'm like, well, what good does that do me? That's after, but I have some of the parts, and you can kind of get an idea looking at this of the scale and the size and his detached arms at the moment. I'll just kind of hold it in place.
Oh, that's incredible.
Oh, that
So
face
little
is
small,
amazing.
little compact.
Oh, man.
I actually do have some pictures online of the new version on my Instagram, which you can find at Mini Lego Formers. Instagram.com at Mini Lego Formers.
Right there on the screen.
Feel free to check it out. Let's plug myself there a little bit.
Absolutely.
Hasn't gone up on the Etsy store
That's
yet.
why we're here. It's like, yes.
That's incredible. I cannot wait to buy that in person.
That's so cool.
If I actually, let me do this. I suppose I can't. I don't know if I can show stuff myself from my computer screen. If there's a way, well, that's great.
Well, let's try it. If it doesn't, then I can try to bring it up on my side.
I can just send it to you through Facebook and do it there. Yeah. What do I just click on this present?
That should work. Yeah.
I just want to touch on something Adam said. After going to CybFest, the first thing he thought about was, I got to be a part of this. And that's exactly what happened with me. When I first went with my wife, it was our first time in the area, and we were still living out of a hotel room. And I'm like, babe, I really want to go to this show. I have never been to one of these shows. Can we go together? And we went, and it was so amazing. The feeling of just being welcomed into the community. And after that, I told her, I said, I got to be a part of this. I just, when you said that, it just made me, I just flashed back. And it made me remember that day, us walking to her SUV and having the conversation. I got to do this next year. Let's do this next year. And she was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. And having her go, I totally get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and now it's been 7 years for me.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm really excited. One of my friends who is a huge Transformers fan and has never been to a convention before is coming with us for the entire day. And holy moly, is he excited. I am horrified that I'm going to create a monster. Well, that I'm going to help create a monster. That Devastator is great.
That's cool.
But, being able to share that enthusiasm of, oh my gosh, I get to be a part of you being a part of this. And hopefully you'll get some of what I got out of this.
Yeah.
And what I continue to get every year. That's how it continues to grow. And that's how we build a better community. And oh man, that's awesome. So the level of engineering.
Really? Oh my God, that's awesome.
The level of engineering in these that you do, Jeremy, is incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I figured while I was there, I just clicked through a little bit of the stuff on the page, and not all of that will be there. Menasor, I haven't got the parts in for yet, and a couple of the other things, but like these guys, the Predacons will be there, although his head's a little different now because this looked a little too much like the Boston Dynamics real robot.
Sure.
If I can plug something else too,
sure.
This is actually something that I'm building for Brick.
Lego man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
and so
that's
we'll have a
killer.
little battle of
That
Triplicon and
diorama is
Metroplex with
awesome.
Omega Supreme kind of hanging out in the background. What's really cool about this, and I have to show this off even though he told me not to, but you guys are the first to see this. If I can figure out how to do this screen sharing thing again. I guess that stopped it, but let's try this. And can I share the video thing?
Oh man, maybe.
No, it won't. Oh, maybe if I just go this way. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that scene that I'm building, a buddy of mine is really into 3D animation, and he
Sure.
saw my Lego stuff. And he's like, I can animate those. So he's actually going to make a whole video out of that battle. And he sent me this the other day so I could see Trypticon's movement. And, you guys will get the first look at it other than me, because it's pretty fun. I'm clicking on my screen over there.
It should work.
Oh, neat.
Really
He's so doofy and awesome.
So yeah, that's the whole video will be made using my Transformers animating the battle. That'll have the actual build for.
That's fracking amazing.
I can't wait for that. I was hoping you'd have it done by CybFest, but he's like, no, it's taking too long. He's doing it for nothing for me out of just fun and friendship, and it's pretty time consuming to animate 2 3D models made out of Legos and build a whole city. He's downloading sound effects from videos. He actually contacted a guy on YouTube that redid the Transformers music from the original movie on guitar, got his permission to use his version in the video. So
Awesome.
All I've done is design this stuff out of Lego, and he's like, nah, I got all this.
I can run with that.
I feel a little lazy, and I feel a little bad, like when I'm like, hey, how's it going? How much have you done? But it's gonna be awesome if you're in the area. Well, you're all in the area, and you happen to be free in September for BrickCon. I'll be there as well, showing some stuff off, and hopefully we'll have an iPad with that video playing. Should be about 5 minutes of video, and should be awesome.
Big old TV playing that video.
If I could bring a big TV and have it set up there, they won't really let me do that. Although BrickCon is somewhat for the public, a lot for the builders. So like after everybody leaves, we have like little events and different stuff. And as long as I get it to them in time, they're going to show it off to the whole builder group that's there.
That's
so
great.
it'll be on a huge projector in a theater in the Cornish Playhouse for everybody to watch, which is really what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, that's going to be a fun one, and it's looking so good. He did such an awesome job with the animations and the effort that he's putting into it. Like, I owe him something. I don't know what, but I owe him a lot once this is done.
Legos.
Yeah, he's gonna step in the whole build.
Yeah.
Like, here you go. You can remember this forever now. You have it. But.
Yeah, that's so cool, Jeremy. And that reminds me, I don't remember if you had mentioned it when we did our first lap around, but you talked about your Lego creations and dealing at CybFest, but did you talk about you're in C-Lug now, right?
I am in C-Lug now, I guess.
I think it's a really cool story. Yeah. And it was kind of sideways because of your Transformers stuff and kind of your friendship with Ben and us at CybFest, and it's just kind of like an interesting way how it all kind of comes back around.
Yeah. I've been going to BrickCon for slightly longer than I've been going to CybFest.
Mm-hmm.
And every year it was bring all my stuff, sit there, spend 4 days where like I'm meeting people and having fun, but I'm alone. I've got my own little table, my own little area on some table, and I'm putting my stuff out, and and I'm just doing it by myself, and it's just kind of lonely,
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking into Lego groups, and it was this past summer. There was the Kent, I forget what it was called.
It was the Meeker Street Nerd Party in downtown Kent.
Yes, that is exactly what it was.
Not too far away from the Kent Commons Community Center, home of CybFest Northwest, July 8th, 2023. CybFestNW.com.
So I'd gone by the Lego display and was chatting with them, and and I had already emailed them, like, hey, I want to join you guys. I just need some information. Where do you meet? Blah blah blah. And hadn't actually heard anything back. And then I went down to the Transformer setup that you guys had there,
mm-hmm.
and ran into Ben, and I had talked with Ben multiple times at CybFest and at BrickCon. I knew him from both things. He's like, well, come on with me. I'll go introduce you. We'll get this all taken care of. So we walked down and went over, and he introduced me to everybody there, and I got all the information. All of a sudden, I'm getting emails about when meetings are and stuff. I'm like, great. And I gotta say, I mean, it's a great group of people, great community, really welcoming, and even though I have this little niche thing of just Lego Transformers, and like I bring stuff there to different stuff and show it off, and like they get all excited for it, and are all just they love toys, they love
Yeah.
Lego, but they love toys, so a lot of the people there are into Transformers to some extent as well, so it's been a great experience. And yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for CybFest, I may not have ended up making that leap. I mean, they probably would have eventually gotten back to me from my emails originally, but who knows.
That's the cool part about being part of a community. Is it opens those doors that might not be as open otherwise. I mean, yeah, like you said, they might have gotten it back to you eventually, but yeah, having Ben kind of sponsor you, for lack of a better term, kind of I think really kind of helped with that. So that's awesome that you get to have dual citizenship, that you get to do cool stuff with C-Lug and BrickCon, but then you're also exhibiting at CybFest and being part of our little fandom as well. I think it's terrific.
Yeah, my only problem with it all is the timing of the two are backwards. Because BrickCon is just go and show off your stuff, and you don't do any sales or anything.
Yep.
But I build all the stuff and take it all to CybFest, and then I'm like, okay, hope I don't sell out anything I want to show off special at BrickCon, because then I've only got a month and a half to get all the parts and get it rebuilt. If it was the other way around, it would work perfectly for me. Build everything for BrickCon, show it off, then sell it all at CybFest. I have a small apartment. It's not a whole lot. I just had to buy that giant shelving unit behind me, and it's only just starting to get filled with the stuff. I have stuff everywhere on my desk, on a table on the side of me, under the desk, on the floor in the room with it, my office here. Like, there's Legos and Lego Transformers everywhere. My roommate actually came by and was looking at the shelves. He's like, "You got a lot of stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm trying to have stuff that everybody would want." And it's always tough too. Like, what do I build and bring? Because like I mentioned before, I have probably about 150 different designs. I can't do them all. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, I don't have the money to buy that many Legos. Legos aren't cheap. They're definitely not cheap.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do I do? Like, well, let's do the popular stuff that I know people are gonna like. Let's do the kind of unique stuff, like all the Titans and Skylinks, and well, got to do Optimus Prime, because he's Optimus Prime. And then like for this year, okay, well, Perceptor. Let's make sure I have Perceptor, because I'm sure there's going to be some Perceptor fans there. And like the Dinobots, everybody loves the Dinobots, But like my first year, I brought a bunch of Optimus Prime and Megatron, along with Starscream and Grimlock. Just the four of those, like, I don't know, 10 of each maybe or something. And I think I sold one Megatron. Like, that was it, just one. I'm like, really? People just don't like Megatron that much? Like, I'm like, it's kind of a cool build. I like it,
I'm so sorry.
Like, okay, I guess you don't like my Megatron. I sold out of the Grimlock. Like, who doesn't love Grimlock? Like a big dinosaur, But like, it's so hard to predict what to bring and what to have, and and then of course there's always the like, I'll sell stuff and people are like, well, can you hold it till I leave, because I don't want to try to carry it around with me because I'll break it. So it's still sitting there and people see it and they're like, oh, I want that. Like, it's sold. Sorry. But if you email me, I can make another one for you and send it to you. And sometimes I hear back from them. Sometimes I don't. It's one of those things. People want it and they want it right then, So
Gotcha.
I have a quick question for you, Jeremy, just out of curiosity. Have you been able to crack cassette tape Soundwave yet?
So, all right, hold on. Let me.
Because in my mind, it seems like a very easy thing, but engineering-wise, I feel like it would be very difficult.
So I gotta bring this box over, and I'm gonna show off a couple of things because I put some of the stuff in these display cases because it just makes it nice and easy to. So we have a Perceptor, and we have
Oh, there he is.
Nice.
That's
It's definitely a
amazing.
marvel of engineering, but most importantly, there is Soundwave.
Wow.
I'm gonna pull Monty here because so in his cassette deck mode here, where's my camera? The front does open up, but you'll see there's not a whole lot of room to stuff a cassette in there.
Right.
So he looks cool, but I did build this. If I can, I'm gonna rip his whole arm off, but that's okay.
Oh.
Tiny little guy
nice.
here.
Well, I mean, the G1 guys were always mass shifting anyway, so
exactly.
Oh, there's definitely would need to be some mass shifting here. So he looks pretty cool and cute, but
I love it.
if I were to try to transform him, he's just like kind of everything mushed together.
Yeah.
Like I actually he does have a transformed mode in the design, but I mean, there's only so much you can do with, and it's even hard to get him there because he's so little.
Yeah.
But
so
like
wee.
you can start to see he kind of just folds up like that, and that's about all I got of him.
Oh man!
And he's just too small, too big still to fit inside of Soundwave. I played around with trying to get a version that will fit cassettes, but it's just way beyond the scale of the stuff that I build. Like I'm going for nice little small, like a certain general size. That would have to be considerably larger, and just not really feasible for me to pull it off. Unfortunately, I wish I could, though. I mean, I wish I could get something. One day, Lego will come out with some parts that allow me to build it small enough to fit inside.
And the nice part about Lego is they're notorious for stickers. So just a simple sticker in there to represent, and then have the little guy as the physical. I mean, it's beautiful. Like I gotta commend you because, like I said, it seems like it's really easy on paper, but man, that engineering is a nightmare.
And again, the basic design, you're gonna see here. I'm gonna go quick, but he transforms, a lot like the toy. I mean, I don't know how much of that you actually saw of the camera, but the lights just pulled down. I'm gonna break him as I get the arms pulled out of the back. I've even got the guns as little batteries.
Perfect.
That's incredible.
That's cool.
Like, so, I mean, that's always my goal. Like I said, is to try to get them as familiar as they can be. And I just ripped him up in half, trying to put them back together. But that's okay because he's Lego and you can rip them apart and put them back together. I actually made that joke one year. I think it was last year at CybFest. A little kid, he was like 12 years old, was like, "Oh, can I see?" I'm like, "Okay, but if you break it, you're gonna have to buy it." And he's like, "Oh God, I don't want to break it." And the parent was there, and the dad like kind of looked at me and realized that I was just joking, obviously. But the kid was all freaked out. I'm like, "Don't worry, man. If you break it, they're Lego. I can just put it right back together again." Like, "Oh, okay." And he was all excited to be able to play with it and touch it and stuff. But yeah. So one day maybe we'll have an actual functioning, Soundwave. But for now, he just sits around.
We'll just stick with the amazing one you've made.
It looks really incredible, Jeremy. Like legit.
Looks beautiful.
Very much
very cool.
Compliments. As I mentioned, I started doing this as stress relief. I was working for a very large tech company doing work that was very stressful, and to get home and be able to sit and just play with Legos at the end of the day was. And I actually owe it to two people I worked with at the time that got me really getting into it. They were like, one of them's like, "Can you do Armada stuff? I want to buy them all from you." I'm like, "I think I can. I can try. I've never watched Transformers Armada. I don't even know what it is, but
it sounds cathartic."
Yeah. But then, another guy was like, "Oh, you should post stuff on Reddit and share it so people can see it." And then that spiraled into craziness and been great since then. So now I have my Etsy store where I sell the instructions. And that, if you just look up mini Lego formers on Etsy, you'll find the store, or go to the Instagram page and there's a link there. All linked together. It's wonderful how technology works.
Yeah. Well, and you even got some local media attention here. Gregor, who's a radio show host here, hosts the morning show on 107.7 The End. He took a liking to your stuff as well, and I know he's talked about it on his radio show as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think it was pre-COVID. He bought the Soundwave I had with me then, broke it, and didn't know how to get in touch with me. And when I signed up for CybFest a couple of years back, got my information and reached out to me, and he's like, I talked about your stuff on my radio, told me all about it, radio show, and I love it, and I broke it. Can you send me the instructions so I can put it back together? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then he actually bought that design of Soundwave. It was inspired by him, actually.
Oh, that's great.
Because I had a different version that I had built that was a lot more rickety and kind of fell apart a little bit. And it looked kind of cool, but I really didn't like it because structurally it wasn't very stable.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Do you have a new one?" I'm like, "I'm working on a new one, or was thinking about working on a new one." I'm like, "Give me a little bit. I'll get one. I'll have one for you." And I designed that one. I got it all, and I sent him the images. He's like, "Dude, I want it." I went and met up with him over in Redmond. Ken delivered it to him, so he could get it because he was that excited for it. He couldn't wait. So that was a lot of
awesome.
fun.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Great radio show too. So that being said, a common theme we've been talking about here is we're all dealers and vendors, but Jeremy, is there anything you're looking forward to at this year's CybFest aside from doing the commerce at your own table there?
So there's a big gap in my Transformers knowledge and time that I was really following the toys and everything. Like I said, I loved it as a kid, and then only got back into it like 5-6 years ago with starting the Lego stuff. So when I go, I love to walk around and see the stuff that people have because it's all inspiration for me. I'm like,
yeah,
cool. Like Six Shot that I was just showing. I was there one year and they were raffling one off. I think it was a raffle. I don't know. I remember they had one. Somebody had one and it was really cool. And I'm like, I got to do that. I'm like, that's going to be really hard, but I got to do it. And that's the way a lot of stuff has been after I've been and, see different stuff that people have. I'm like, okay, I need to make this because that's really cool and people love it and I love it. And why haven't I made that yet? But there's so many Transformers out there. It's so easy to just miss stuff or not know about stuff. If, like from the different continuities and stuff that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah. Very cool. So same question up top. Apollo, this is your first CybFest as a dealer. It's your second CybFest as an attendee. What are you looking forward to aside from doing the commerce?
Well, hopefully I'll get a break from my table because I don't have anyone helping me. Oh, bless you. But I'd like to. It's just gonna be fun to see old friends, like you, and also just make new friends. I'm really excited about it, and just, we have this shared hobby and something that we're passionate about, and it's just gonna be really cool vibing with everyone. And I gotta look for another Starscream for my collection. I haven't finished unpacking and setting up my new apartment, but I have
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit of a Starscream collection. I have over 50 of them, and so I need to get a new Starscream for my Starscream shrine.
Nice. Very cool. How about you, Magnus? What are you looking forward to?
I'm just looking at reconnecting with all the friends that I've made over the years. I I feel like every year my stock kind of dwindles and dwindles and dwindles. But with the hot sauce thing going, and then plus, I'm gonna have some. Most of what I'm gonna bring to the shows is gonna be a lot of secondhand stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, now it's more about the socialization and hanging out with old friends that I haven't seen in a while, and they it's just about hanging out and having a good time. And sometimes when you see the little kid and they pick up the little the $1 piece and you see that glow in their eye and you're like, okay, maybe I should just pay it forward and let this kid have that. I got a lot of stuff on my table that I don't care if I sell or not. And,
Yeah.
there's some kids that come in and, you can see that sparkle in their eye, that there's something that catches them and, it lights their imagination. And to be there at that moment and to be able to give that to them, that's a big deal. I remember when I was little and I didn't have any pocket money, and a stranger, reached out to me and did something just out of kindness.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the whole community is all about. And that's what's so great about just going to hang out and talk shop with your buddies and see something new. I'm really looking forward to your table there, Apollo. I am really looking forward to that. That coloring book just put a spark in my eye. Ooh,
Oh, thank
pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome. That's awesome. Well, Apollo kind of mentioned this earlier, like in terms of looking for a new Starscream for the shrine there. Anything you're looking for, in fact, I think let's kind of go around the horn. It's like, stuff that, like, I mean, it's always awkward because we're dealers and, behind our own tables, but yeah, Magnus, anything you're looking for, anything you're on the lookout for?
G1. I'm trying to complete my G1 combiners. I think I have, let's see, I've got, some of them are reissues, some of them are, one of them may be a KO. I'm not exactly sure, but I got my G1 Predaking, my G1 Menasor, my G1 Bruticus, my G1 Defensor, and I have two Technobots, two complete sets, because they're my favorite combiner. I keep one in bot mode and combine mode, and the others in the individual vehicle modes, because the vehicle modes are sick.
Those are pretty cool vehicles for sure.
I'm looking for G1 Superion. Even if I have to like piecemeal it, find one piece at one table, another piece at another. Put together a G1 Superion and G1 Omega Supreme. I think those are the main things that I'll be looking out for. Anything else I probably see that'll catch my eye, kind of like off the beaten path. Every once in a while, I'll see somebody with some Micronauts on their table, like a Biotron, which is one of the larger figures from the line from back in 78, 79-ish. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those guys. And, you want to talk troop building. Troop building is a religion for me. So I've got probably 50 different shockwaves. Apollo, you're a big Starscream fan. I've got about 65 Optimus Primes. At a certain point, there's a thin line between hobby and obsession.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And, I'll come back to the what we're looking for question in a sec, but you reminded me, Magnus, of something I wanted to bring up earlier when you were talking about your fandom of Micronauts and ROM. How, I don't know, like I saw that Marvel had recently announced that they were doing hardbound omnibus of both Micronauts and ROM, and this was before we learned that Skybound got the license for Transformers.
Oh, wow.
Am I the only one that thought for a quarter second that Marvel was actually going to pick back up Transformers based on the fact that they got the reprint rights back for Micronauts and for ROM?
I was thinking that too, but I was hoping we'd get some deluxe reprints of the first 80 issues, but who knows at this point. I'm happy with my hardbound editions that came out about 10 years ago. And it wasn't Marvel that put them out. I forget the publisher. But
Titan Books ones? Are those Titan Books the one you're thinking of?
Those are the ones.
Yeah.
And they broke them up into I think it's about probably about a dozen separate hardbound editions, and I have all those along with my original G1 comics. I'm obsessed with that series, and I'm actually building a second collection of the original G1 so I can have that to resell later. I think I'm about halfway through building that collection right now. But no. The two omnibuses, the Micronauts, I believe, is going to go pre-sale in January next year, and ROM is going to hit pre-sale, I believe, it's either February or March. I'm not exactly sure, but then the release dates are 3 months after the pre-sale, and they're supposed to run about $120 each omnibus. And I when I first heard about them, I started salivating because I really don't like taking out my Micronaut books so I can just reread them. I want to have an omnibus so I can get in there, enjoy those books again, because the Micronauts were a big influence on me, especially as a little kid reading toy tie-in books. Those are the books that my mom was buying me all the time. And they were my introduction into the Marvel Universe proper, because you had all kinds of crossovers going on. Transformers to a lesser extent. There was that one issue with Spider-Man, Transformers #3, orange backdrop, and Spider-Man in the black suit. But yeah, man, I cannot wait for those books to hit.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. How about you, Adam? Anything you're looking for? I know you've got a lot of bots that you're trying to rehome and find new homes for, but anything you're looking for your collection?
I would really, if I had the opportunity to buy the HasLab Victory Saber, I passed on it when it came up because I don't have a lot of connection to it. But then they did the Deathsaurus, and I have to have the Murder Chicken in my life. So if I could counter him with the Victory, I think that'd be pretty great. Aside from that, I'm just looking for weird Japanese Beast Wars, Neo, Beast Wars 2. Any of the Beast Wars redecos from the Japanese RID line, just something weird. I just like the weird stuff, man. As for like personal collection, I got a bunch of Beast Wars toys, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I would really like to find Victory at a reasonable price, open so I don't feel bad about spending sealed prices just so I can open it up and gamble if his chrome chest is not going to be all damaged and messed up.
Right.
And I mean, it counts because he is kind of a part lion, so
Yeah.
kind of fills both niches. He's just a
I
pair of
love it.
fancy boots, but
I love that. I love that. I would direct you towards Ryan King's table. He's Ryan has a lot of Beast Wars, a lot of Beast Wars second, and I think he's got like some Beast Wars Neo stuff still, maybe some of those crazy repaints. So I definitely want to shout that dude out. But yeah, he's I know he took a lot of stuff to TF Con, Chicago, and LA and sold a lot, but I think he's still got a lot. So I think if you pop by, I don't have the dealer layout in front of me. I've seen the dealer layout, but I don't remember
when are we gonna see the dealer layout.
That's a great question.
That's the best question.
I will pose that to the to my fellow organizers, because I don't know if we've decided, but I will put that in our Discord and I'll see if I have an answer for you.
Well, and I just say that because the website, at least from what I've seen, has the old layout before the expansion, and we're all eager to see what the expansion is going to look like. If it's going to be 2 separate rooms, if it's going to be one big room, like how is that going to work, and where is everybody going to be?
Well, I can address some of that, and I'll give you guys some like behind the scenes knowledge. So we meet as a team every Thursday. We do our meetings on Discord, and up until last week, we've been operating as kind of like 2 separate rooms, but knowing that we're going to knock the wall out and do the full gym. And it wasn't until we did some quick photoshopping. Liz put the 2 images together, and when I saw it, because it was like, okay, and these, Paul Eiding's going to be over here on the right hand side, and then we've got these commander class tables here. We're going to put the robotics team on the left side, and it was very abstract, where it's just like, oh yeah, 2 separate rooms. But it wasn't until Liz did that Photoshop of the composite of the full gym where I was like, I've been looking at this stuff for months, and I stopped in my tracks. I was like, oh my God, it's that big. So basically, like the way it's going to look is like you walk through the double doors, and it's basically the double doors are kind of like in what's essentially the middle of the dealer room. And then it's just going to expand out from there. And it's literally double what it's been before, because we've always had the full gym. So it's like, so when you walk in, there's going to be stuff on your right, there's going to be stuff on your left, and the artists are going to be right up front as soon as you walk in, and then a lot of the larger tables back around in that area. But yeah, it's going to be super cool. Are
the panels, Mike? Are the panels still going to be in that little satellite gym?
Yes, in the Green River room, I think. Yeah. So that's where all the panels will be held. But yeah, I would imagine that we can, now that registration has closed for dealers, I think Jamal, our dealer coordinator, still has like a couple tweaks left to do. I would imagine that we'll finalize the layout at this week's meeting, and we'll probably release it shortly after. But I'll pose that question for the group. But I would imagine this week, probably Friday morning, if I were to guess. But don't hold me to that, because I'm just talking out my ears, and I might get in trouble. But
totally gonna hold it to you, Mike.
But it looks cool. The dealer layout is really, really cool. I think everybody's gonna like it. Our attendants, our dealers, everybody's gonna like it. It's really gonna be something special, I think, for our 10th anniversary show. So I guess one thing I want to as we get closer to wrapping up, and then we'll kind of go around and see if there's anything else that anybody wants to plug. But like, Jeremy, did I ask you what you're looking for? I don't remember if I did.
No, not yet.
You looking for anything?
Interrupted a lot. There's a couple things. I'm pretty picky when it comes to what I buy, mainly because I don't have a whole lot of room. I have like one bookcase with like a dozen figures, mostly newer stuff. But somebody was talking before about having it in their hands and putting it back and not buying it. I did that in a Target with Skylinks when the new one came out, and it was like $70, right there in my hands, and I'm like, oh, I've always wanted this guy, and I'm like, but bills, and I'm like, oh, I'll get it some other time, and never again saw it, So if I can find a good Skylinks that is reasonably priced. Another one that I did that with was the new Cyclonus.
Yep.
I don't know what it is about them, but I just love them.
It's such a great toy. He is so
Lego
cool.
figure out of them, but still, that's one I keep going back to. Like, that's not really right. Let's try it again. But yeah, so if I can find a good one of him, again, probably out of the box because I don't want to feel bad about it. None of my stuff is in boxes. If I can't at least transform it once, I'm going to be miserable. So everything comes out of the box. It gets played with, and then gets to sit on its shelf in some kind of pose, waiting for me to randomly decide to pick it up and transform it and do something else with it. So those are the two big ones. There's lots of other stuff too. Like if I could find a really cool Devastator that's not $700, that would be awesome.
Mhm.
I will admit I satisfy my urges a lot by just building it out of Legos. It's a good way to be like, I really want this figure. Yeah, okay, let's sit here and design it and build it, order the parts and build it. Like Devastator. That's why I have a 5-inch tall little Devastator sitting on my shelf right now. Whether I come home with it or not, who knows? But but yeah, those are the two big ones though, because they'll add some nice highlights to my other stuff of like Ultra Magnus and Grimlock and Starscream and a couple other guys that are on the shelves.
Very cool. So I guess. Oh, go ahead.
There's one thing I wanted to mention, Apollo. You mentioned being able to leave your table.
Yeah.
The staff at CybFest is awesome and will watch your table for you, so you can take a break or look around, all kinds of stuff like that. Having been every year by myself, there was always a time where I'm like, oh, I wish I could go and look at this, or oh, I wish I could get some food. I'm really hungry. And there's a bunch of staff that are hanging around specifically for that purpose. So you just let them know, and they'll come over. They'll watch your table, and tell people, "Hey, they'll be right back in a few minutes. Just hang out." And and they're really great with it. So
yeah,
cool. Yeah, that's a relief.
Yeah.
And just for my 2 cents, just for my 2 cents about it, take advantage of the early bird. I know it seems counterintuitive because it's the early bird and people are there. But if you just take 10, 15 minutes out of the early bird and just go walk the floor, it'll be so much easier. Even if you don't do the whole floor, you just do a third of the floor. And then like Jeremy said, when you take a break, go do another third of the floor and just spread it throughout the day. You'll find what you're looking for.
Yeah, every time I've gone and I've made friends with one of the vendors that I've never vended next to before, they've usually been really accommodating too. So the vendors there are really helpful as well. I usually have a partner with me helping me, do stuff so I can go off and gallivant and spend more money than I brought with me. But there's Rebecca. She's one of the she helps out with the organization, and she is always asking me, "You want to go to the restroom? You need to go eat something?" And you don't nothing to worry about, especially if you need to step away for a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll take care of you. Just don't be shy. Just be like, hey man, and we got you. We got you, homie. We want everybody to feel welcomed and as everybody's selling stuff, we want folks to have the opportunity to buy stuff as well. Before before we call it a day, I already shouted out my buddy Ryan King. He wasn't able to join us on the stream tonight, but he just wanted me to let folks know that he has a ton of Beast Wars to sell. So that's a thing, as he says. So, and yeah, he's got all kinds of cool obscure stuff as well. So definitely check out Ryan's table. I also want to shout out Greg Gobb. He also has a table with his son Alex, and we definitely want to shout out Alex with Blue Forge. He's got like all kinds of cool 3D printed stuff. He is the architect of our exclusive figure, Generation Zero Wheelless Jack. And again, every time I see this thing, I'm just blown away by just, you know, he built everything basically by hand. He 3D printed, hand painted, completely custom with, of course, that terrific Ashley Artley box art as well. I'm really excited to kind of get mine in hand, because one of the very few advantages of being an organizer is I actually get one of the figures. So I'm really excited to get my hands on one of them. But
quick question about that.
Yeah.
I've seen conflicting reports. Do we have a final count on how many of those are going to be available?
That's a good question. I believe he made 30. But that's how many he made. So there's a couple that are coming up off the top. I don't remember exactly how many. I think the amount that we'll have for sale will be just over 20, I think. And again, hopefully we'll get that finalized within the next soon. So that at least within the next soon, because I was going to say a couple days. No, next couple weeks. Well, that's the day of the show. So I will bring that to the other staff's attention, and we'll see about addressing that, because I think it would be nice to know exactly kind of what the deal is and how many are actually available. I'm going to see if Alex can like hand number them too, so that we know which ones are which. But
because that is an awesome exclusive.
It's terrific. It really, really is. And we're bummed that, you know, we know that demand is going to far exceed supply. And unfortunately there isn't a way around it, because he's been building these for the last few months. So it's like, I mean, like I said, he's literally hand building them. So, you know, he can only make so many, but hopefully if they all sell out and they're all incredibly successful, maybe that will give us inspiration to do more in the future. So that'll be really cool there. So anyway, so yeah, Greg is going to be tabling next to Alex. Alex has a handful of other new designs on display, in addition to Generation Zero Wheelless Jack. So if you kind of like that, you'll love some of the other stuff he has going on.
Greg's table is always awesome.
Yeah, Greg's table is great. He's got some 3D printed matrix spinners, some fidget spinners, tons of Energon cubes, lots of 3D printed goodness. It seems like that's kind of the trajectory his creativity has gone in recent years, kind of leaning way more towards 3D printed stuff. So those were a couple of the folks that I just kind of wanted to shout out here. But I think outside of that, I think we're probably just about at the end. So I suppose let's go around one more time, see if there's like anything else that we wanted to talk about, anything else that we wanted to promote, anything that because, you know, like I told you folks when I sent out the email, it's like, you know, I want to make sure everyone has plenty of opportunity to promote everything that they're working on, everything that they got going on. So I don't want anybody to feel shortchanged. But I get the feeling that we could be here all night talking about, you know, all kinds of cool stuff with Transformers. But I think for this particular adventure, I think once we kind of go around the room, that'll about cut it. But let's start with I went clockwise before I go counterclockwise this time. Apollo, let us know about all the cool stuff that you got going on, including that podcast that you're a part of, which incidentally, shout out to the Transmissions folks for being so gracious with their time. They had me on to talk about their as part of their Rise of the Beast live stream. I believe we're doing something with them next week as well as Apollo, your appearances on Transmissions as well. So I feel like they've been a really good ally to us here at CybFest. So I definitely owe them a debt of thanks. But yeah, talk about all the stuff you got going on.
Okay, well, you can find me on social media at RoboApollo on Twitter and Instagram. And I do have commissions open for digital commissions. So if you want something that's going to take a little while to get to you, but it's high quality, you can hit me up in the DMs on Twitter and Instagram for that. I also am a guest host on a podcast, usually once a month, called Transmissions, and they're located on Twitter. It's TRNSMISSIONS, Transmissions, and it's a really fun podcast. We go over toy news and Transformers news weekly, and it's a weekly show. And they never take a break. Like,
Yeah.
they never do, so it's been going on, I think, for like 10 years, right? Like, I actually don't know. It's been a long time. So,
Yeah.
oh, excuse me. I became a guest host on there starting in 2021. So I've been doing that for a few years now. So yeah, so that's where you can find me, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at CybFest come by my table and say hi, even if you don't buy anything.
I love it. High fives are free.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Apollo. We appreciate it. All right. Magnus von Braun, the animal himself. Do you have an internet presence? How can folks find you online if they wanted to connect with you?
As a matter of fact, I do, Mike. You can reach me at Instagram, Magnus von Braun 666. Don't let the number fool you. I also have a YouTube channel I've been running for the last couple of years. It is Atomic Mariachi Animal 51. It's Atomic Mariachi Animal at Atomic Mariachi Animal 51 on YouTube. And I also have a Facebook group called Atomic Mariachi Robot. And that's basically a community of like-minded artisans, community people. Just if you like anything sci-fi, and it doesn't have to be Star Wars. It doesn't have to be Transformers. It can be the most obscure film that nobody's seen. This is your home. This is the place for you to come and share that love with us. And all inclusive. And anybody who wants in, all you got to do is follow the rules, and we'll have you. And I think that's all I got, Mike.
Cool. Well, thanks for being my buddy. Adam, does Toy Box Heroes have online presence? Anything you want to connect or promote?
We've got a Facebook page. We got a group page on Facebook that's just Toy Box Heroes, spelled correctly, not with a Z, because that's a whole nother story. But and I do a lot of shows on Whatnot. Just search for Toy Box Hero. If you're in the Portland metro area, come to the Milwaukee Antiques Mall. I'm case number 16. I restock just about every week. And come see me at the show. I can't wait to meet everybody. Reconnect with people I haven't seen in a while, and just tell some stories and talk about the first toy you ever bought or the first Transformer you ever got.
Yeah.
'Cause those memories are my favorite. Just come hang out, see what we got, try and maybe buy something. If you don't want to buy something, as Mike said,
High
high
fives are
fives
free.
And yeah, come say hi to the wife. Tell her she's doing a great job because she'll need it.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, I can't wait to. I absolutely am stoked to be a part of this again after 3 years off,
Mhm.
and I cannot wait. So that's it for me.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks for being here. Yeah, it was great meeting you too. That's terrific. That's why I wanted to do this in this format, so that we could all get together, put faces with names, and yeah, just because as we talked about earlier, it's all about community. So I think we have a terrific, nice little community here. So. Jeremy, you already talked about your the Instagram, but if you want to feel free and pimp that again, and if there's any other ways that we can find you on the internet and connect you with socials, feel free.
Just the two. Instagram, obviously Mini Lego Formers, and then if you look for the same thing, Mini Lego Formers on Etsy, you can find my store. Or again, go to the Instagram page, check out pictures of stuff. Everything gets posted there first when I design it before it's on the Etsy store. It's a great way to let me know what people actually are interested in, because if they like a lot on Instagram, it'll go up quicker on the Etsy store. I do have one other thing that I want to show off, and I've been sitting here thinking about what Adam said about Beast Wars stuff, and I don't have a whole lot of Beast Wars stuff, but 4 years ago, in this Facebook group for Lego Transformer builders that I'm in, the moderator of the group put out a challenge to everybody of coming up with the craziest crossover anybody can think of, and building Transformers for it. So there was a lot of stuff like, Star Wars, Star Trek, G.I. Joe, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I went a little further out there and said My Little Pony.
Yes.
About a year later, they actually did a comic of Transformers My Little Pony. But if I can share this here.
Which is delightful, by the way. But both of those miniseries are a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Absolutely adorable.
I was floored with that first series. It was just so amazing. Yeah, I bought the whole series for my wife. I kind of took them out of her box and put them in mine.
These are My Little Pony Transformers.
Oh my gosh.
Actually do transform. And because I had to go another step.
No.
Yes. Friendship is magical.
Oh my gosh.
I've never actually built them, but
crap.
Adam, if you're interested, let me know, and I'll price it out for you, and let you know how much it would be for all the parts. And
hey, I have a loose G1 Devastator that
we may have to train.
that look real nice on your shelf for those that My Little Pony Transformer.
Yeah, so I
that's great.
I thought of you. And I was like, what do I have that he might actually like? And this popped into my head. I'm like, I got to show this.
Oh,
no. Jeremy, don't get me wrong. It's not a matter of not liking. Everything you're doing is amazing.
Well, thank you.
I just want to reiterate that.
Yeah, no. But this is up your alley of the animal.
That may be more up my alley, but your stuff is great.
Oh, actually, there is one more social media way to find me, too.
Sure.
It's right here. If you look for Azrael711, Azreal 711 on Reddit, you'll find my posts scattered across the Transformers Reddit, the Lego Transformers Reddit, the Lego Reddit, a whole bunch of them. I just spam them all when I get something I really like and throw it up there. See, I've been doing this for a while. I'm going to shamelessly plug myself again.
Of course.
Tiny little Unicron. Yes. Because, he's adorable. He loses all that, he's scary when he's 3 inches tall. But, lots of fun stuff. Oh, there's the G1. I mean, there's the Megatron that didn't sell. Cute little tank, right? Yeah.
I can't see anything. It's all.
Oh,
shoot.
It's still
Yeah.
on the ponies.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are
clicked
you
on the
sharing
thing and
that?
it never went over. Whoops.
Well,
Oh,
let me
shoot.
let me take that out. Try it again.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, because I shared just the image page, not the whole thing.
Oh, there you
There's
go.
There's the Megatron.
Oh, see, that's cool.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
I
He's a
like
cool
that.
looking little
That's
guy,
so
right?
cool.
And nobody
Fun.
wanted to buy him when he was there.
Aw.
Yeah. But there's just to go back, there's the tiny little unicorn. Like I
Oh,
said,
that's
it's just not
great.
as menacing at that scale, right? You know?
Hey,
I
you
need
can
to-
recolor that into a Deathsaurus pretty easy.
That's true. That's
I've been
true.
working on that. I actually had a guy from my group who did them out of Lego and like huge, massive scale. I think the thing's about 20 inches tall, and needed some help with the little bot that goes into his chest. He reached out to me. He's like, I can't figure out how to do this. You work in this scale, like help me. And so we kind of collaborated on it with getting it so the legs folded in and it all worked right into the space that he had. But yeah, trying to get it in my scale is just, it's tough. Some are just a little beyond me still at this point, but my evolution of Grimlock a little bit there.
Power Glide is awesome.
I'll just keep scrolling through. Oh yeah, look, there's my post. Want to bring the CybFest 4 years ago. I mean, you can see Optimus is evolved quite a bit since then. Yeah. As has Starscream. There's another one that I just can't get one I really like out of them. Hot Rod, Rodimus Prime. It's just this guy's kind of but
Yeah. It's getting there though.
they're getting there.
Yeah.
My dead Optimus Prime. Somebody asked for it. I'm like, all right, we can gray them out, and then just because,
Oh, they're so
But,
sad, but they're so adorable in their sadness.
right?
Oh no.
That picture. Oh,
I'm afraid the wounds are fatal.
Yeah, I had to do it. I was gonna actually build it for BrickCon, and I don't know why I never did. I got distracted. I was doing other stuff. I realized that part of this rendering is broken. But
yeah, that'd make a great diorama.
Yeah.
And then
you know what it was? I know why I didn't do it. It's the orange parts for the rest of the base.
Oh,
Were just
sure.
so expensive to get all those orange parts.
Yeah, but
We'll
you
have to
can
see if I can get them like in bulk. It's a fun one too.
Yeah,
that little
see,
Grimlock transformer.
Oh man, I'm see because the them looking at Optimus, I'm dumb, so I'm thinking, oh, you can do a counter of that of the Nemesis and Starscream throwing Megatron out of the Nemesis as the counter to that.
Oh God, yeah, I could. Damn. Oh man. See, now I've got all
Too many ideas, too much good
I know.
stuff.
But this is what happens. I start talking to people about it, and I'm like, there's an attempt to get the other guys really small. These weren't the best. There's newer versions that are much, much better for Prime and Megatron and Starscream at that scale.
Is that a little gun Megatron?
Oh yeah, tiny little gun Megatron.
wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
I mean it's pretty. I'll zoom in here a bit. Oh no, that opening up the page doesn't work. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple and basic, but it's cute, right?
It gets the point across.
Yeah, there's actually I had last year my better version of Optimus Prime that's much sleeker and nicer looking than this that I brought with me, and I think I have a couple left that'll come back this year. I actually have one of them in the hand of Predaking. He's just holding them, and it looks like he's got like this little Optimus Prime stuffed animal. It's adorable. Yeah, but I could scroll through this all day and show you guys
on.
Here's another one you might like. This is another challenge. Come up with something for Thanksgiving. I made a turkey bot. Yeah. where his head becomes a weapon for him.
That is the closest thing to a murder chicken I have seen in a very long time.
Yeah. But yeah, come on.
Oh, that whirl is
Whirl?
cool.
Whirl became a headmaster
Cool.
because they couldn't
Look at
figure out how to
that.
hide his head.
I
So-
love IDW Whirl.
Yeah. Yeah. He's basically
much
just
fun.
Deadpool. It's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Which I love it. I love it.
Yeah, another little battle trap.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Just hours and hours.
Yeah.
And this is on your Reddit page?
This is on my Reddit page. Yeah, there's
Got it.
tons more on there. A lot of older stuff. I haven't posted much newer stuff on there lately. I need to get back
Wait,
into it because
Is that Bludgeon?
that is Bludgeon.
Yes.
That's so
And-
cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. To keep with his name, his turret from being a tank actually becomes a hammer.
Becomes a
Because
giant
why
hammer.
does Bludgeon have a sword? Can somebody explain this to me, please? His name is Bludgeon, and he's got a sword.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me. So mine has a hammer.
I love it. I love it. Well, because he's the master of Metallicato.
I was
he's
just going to say the same thing.
the evil samurai. Now, what I don't understand is how come in contemporary fiction they haven't had him be a Bludgeon? I mean, how come they haven't had him be in a rivalry with Drift? Because
Yeah.
it seems like you got good samurai, evil samurai. I think that would be pretty cool.
Isn't he an Autobot now?
Is he?
Bludgeon?
Yeah, because I think I
What?
bought a Cyberverse Bludgeon, and he's an Autobot.
Well, I don't know
I
about
think.
all that. Wow, I gotta
Yeah.
look into that.
He might be.
I
Yeah.
think it was. I think it was a turncoat in Cyberverse. I think it was
Ah,
on the cover.
see, I don't know
Oh.
anything about Cyberverse except for
Yeah.
what I've seen of the toys.
Yeah,
Yeah, it seems very easy. They could have a Storm Shadow,
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes kind of rivalry.
Yeah, they're like
That
sword
totally makes
brothers.
sense.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think that'd be yeah.
If
And-
only we could get a decent Storm Shadow Snake Eyes movie, then we'd be.
Well-
they'll land on it eventually. I mean, they have to. I mean, like just statistically. I mean, like, because I mean, they've had 3 chances and it's still not quite. I mean, it's got to happen eventually.
What is that? If you put 1,000 screenwriters in a room with a typewriter, eventually they'll come out with something good.
Yep,
Oh, I thought
yep.
it was orangutans or something.
Oh, that's what it is. Monkeys. Yeah.
Oh, wow. All
Here's
right, friends.
Another one that I'm a little proud of while we're still seeing
I love it.
everything.
Yeah.
The
Pounce
clones.
and Wingspan. That's great.
Yeah.
Yes,
You can
Decepticon
do
clones.
convincing animals.
Yeah. I mean, they're not bad. Yeah.
One
It's-
transforms
it's
into a
rough.
hawk, the other one into
Some
a
of them-
puma.
Some of them, like,
Super
oh, there's my tiny little
cute.
Ultra Magnus. I love this.
Oh, that's
guy.
cool.
This is
Yeah.
one of my favorite builds. I love Ultra Magnus, and working this out. So he's the only thing that needs to be reattached is his head and this little chest piece. Are tucked away in the back here.
In the
Everything
back,
else
yeah.
just kind of wraps around, and he's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's good stuff though. Appreciate you sharing all that. That's super, super cool.
yeah, and a lot of it will be at CybFest.
There you go.
I went a little crazy ordering parts and building stuff because it gives me an excuse to order parts and build stuff. Is really what it is. So I've got shelves of stuff that are all going to come with me, and I'll be available for everybody.
Nice. Very cool. Well, and all of that and more is going to be happening at CybFest Northwest 2023. That is coming up in a few short weeks. A couple short weeks, my God. On July 8th, 2023, from 11 to 5. That's at the Kent Commons Community Center in lovely downtown Kent, Washington, about 20 miles south of Seattle. And it's our 10th anniversary show, or it's our 10th annual show. So we're really excited to celebrate all things Transformers. It's the Cybertronian Festival, our unofficial Transformers convention by the fans, for the fans. And I mentioned before, it's our 10th year, our 10th anniversary show. So we're blowing the doors out, both figuratively and literally, with an expanded dealer hall. It's also the return of the children's play area, which I know a lot of folks really were into. We will have real life robots in the form of a couple robotics teams. We have our featured guest, voice actor Paul Eiding, who will be joining me for a live stream later this week. Do a little bit of pre-show Q&A. Bumblebee is coming back as well. Scotty is bringing his movie-inspired Bayverse Bumblebee Camaro. We'll have tons of artists. We've got the transforming contest. We have the art contest, trivia, raffles, and so much more. I'm literally reading from the flyer so that I make sure that I hit all the bullet points. And if you haven't yet, out in podcast land, the CybFest Northwest promotional tour bus has been making the rounds. We've done a couple different guest spots on various podcasts. We've been on Radio Free Cybertron. We've been on Swerve's Bar. We've been on Transmissions, as well as several episodes of Mike Cybert Radio here, and a handful of other folks as well. We've got a promo running around that TFG1 Mike has been posting on the Geekcast Radio network shows. I think like this week's episode of the Pull Bag has our CybFest promo running through that, and then a couple other goodies coming up before showtime as well. But information on all of that is available at our website, cybfestnw.com. That's cybfestnw.com. And that will give you connections to all of our social media channels and more. But I think that's about it. Last call for alcohol. Anything else before we call it a night? Because I see a couple of us stifling a couple yawns there as well. But I think we left it all out on the table. But again, come to CybFest, come to Seattle, and meet all of our terrific dealers and artists and vendors, and it's just going to be an absolute blast. And with that will wrap things up for this episode. Thank you so much for listening and for hanging out with us. If you want to listen to my podcast, Mike Cybert Radio, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, or wherever the hell else you listen to podcasts. Like, share, rate, and review the show. Let us know what you like and what you'd like to hear more of in the future. For my guests, Silverio and Apollo and Magnus von Braun and Adam, the Toy Box Heroes, and Jeremy, Mini Lego Formers. My name is Mike. This has been Mike Cybert Radio. And until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, until all are one, and make good choices.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Till all are one. Till all are one.
Till all are one.
Yeah, there we go. You got the touch. All right, I'm gonna hit this button that says end broadcast.